"Sir, step away from the property." A beam of light stabbed my eyes, cop's flashlight, right in my face as I stood barefoot on the gravel of my own damn driveway. I hadn't been to Blackwood Ranch in months. Asia, Europe, Dubai, consulting gigs, tech talks, investor meets. My passport looked like it belonged to a spy. But finally I came back home. Except, it didn't feel like home anymore. Fences where open fields used to be. Concrete sidewalks carving through the dirt trail I grew up running on. And slapped right onto my old rusted gate, a laminated no trespassing sign zip-tied like it belonged there. And standing in the middle of my yard like she owned the place was a platinum blonde banshee in a tennis skirt shrieking into her phone. "Yes, officer. He's trying to break into Lot 42. Lot 42? This wasn't a lot. This was Blackwood Ranch 3 generations deep, 500 acres of Texas soil that still remembered the sound of my grandfather's boots. The land of longhorns, coyotes, and wide-open mornings. I learned to ride here, buried my first dog beneath that twisted live oak. My father laid the main house stone by stone, and now some HOA Barbie was reporting me for trespassing? The cop's cruiser lit up the field red and blue like a low-budget action movie. He swaggered toward me, all duty and doubt, hand near his holster. "Sir, I need to see some ID." I stared back, slow and steady, letting a grin tug at the edge of my mouth. "Sure. But first, ask her who owns this land." She crossed her arms and shouted for both of us to hear. "The Heritage Springs HOA foreclosed it for unpaid dues. It's community property now." My blood ran cold. Oh, they wanted to play games. While I was off-grid scaling a tech incubator in Singapore, the Heritage Springs HOA had apparently decided to annex my family's land into their neatly packaged suburbia. Matching mailboxes, curated tulips, HOA board meetings with lemon bars and hidden agendas. They claimed they'd sent notice. Certified mail, emails, even an ad in some backwater regional paper. All conveniently missed during my travel. Now they were saying I owed over $12,000 in fees, backdated of course, plus penalties, plus interest. 30 days to pay or dispute. No response. Foreclosure. Only one problem. I never signed anything. Never opted in. Never agreed to join their soulless subdivision. Never gave permission to zone or pave or rename my front porch Lot 42. They thought I'd be some absentee fool too far away to fight back. They had no idea who I was. So yeah, I let the officer cuff me. Let Karen smirk while she filmed it for the HOA newsletter. Let them haul me off. Because the moment I hit the back seat, I made a single call. "Hey, Greg? It's Michael. We've got a situation." Greg was my attorney. Also happened to be the head of the National HOA Regulatory Board. Man knew property law better than most people knew how to breathe. But me? I wasn't just Michael Blackwood, war vet's son, ranch heir. I was the silent majority shareholder in every major HOA management software company in America. Those pastel brochures HOAs mail out, my print shops, the violation tracking app board members love to abuse. I funded its code base. That little checkbox you click when you move into a planned community? My checkbox. By 8 a.m. the next morning, everything blew wide open. Greg dropped cease and desist orders like napalm. Karen, Dennis, Roger with the greasy comb-over, all of them woke up to foreclosure notices on their properties. Turns out a few zoning permits were out of date. A couple tax filings were, let's say, incomplete. Oops. Dennis tried to call a board meeting. Problem was, the building they usually used? Padlocked. New owner, me. By 10 a.m., the local police chief was on the phone with the governor of Texas, trying to explain why a national figure in real estate law had been arrested in his own driveway. By 11 a.m., Karen's husband, a plastic surgeon dabbling in sketchy biotech, found out every investor had yanked their funding overnight. Just one word from me to my friends in venture capital, and suddenly his startup was radioactive. By noon, Dennis was sweating through his shirt at the station, trying to keep his voice steady. "Mr. Blackwood, this is all a huge misunderstanding. We didn't realize." I sipped the coffee Greg handed me. Slowly, deliberately. "Didn't realize what? That you messed with the wrong man? That history doesn't go quietly, that some land still remembers who it belongs to. I let the silence answer for me. They tried to take my family's land, disguising it under something they called a community improvement plan. Just a misunderstanding, they claimed. I slid the folder across the table. Inside, irrefutable proof. Forged attendance records, manipulated minutes, and annexation votes based on expired ordinances. Dennis's hand trembled as he flipped through the pages. Heritage Springs HOA is dissolved, effective immediately, I said. No emotion, just facts. He stammered. What? You heard me. Your bylaws are void. Your board is disbanded. And you're not even legally authorized to maintain the park benches. Then I turned to Karen, dragged in by 2 U.S. Marshals, arms crossed like she still had power. Karen, I said calmly, you're about to discover what property taxes look like when your little non-profit protection bubble bursts. Retroactive, no exemptions. A state investigation followed. What they found was explosive. Embezzlement, fraudulent land grabs, and fake fees. Over 100 families came forward once they realized they'd been conned by people pretending to represent the neighborhood. Dennis got arrested. So did Roger. Karen managed to avoid jail time with a fine. But her name? That was ruined. And people like her, they don't survive without control. When that vanishes, so do they. My land? I brought it back to life and then some. Installed a new 20-foot iron gate, forged by local veterans, complete with a custom plaque that read, private property. Trespassers will be dealt with M. Blackwood. Replatted the land, made sure every inch had verified county-recognized boundaries. No loopholes. I even bought 200 acres surrounding it, not for farming, for peace, for buffer, for clarity. And the cherry on top, I bought the old HOA clubhouse at auction for next to nothing. Turned it into a dog rescue center. Now every morning, Karen has to drive past 10 dogs running wild on the lawn. There's a Great Dane named Pickles who barks every time her car rolls by. I swear he knows. We built a public playground next to it, free to all. No restrictions. And right above the entrance, a bronze plaque, not for me, but for the dogs. And for the people who once told me I didn't belong. They say don't start a war you can't finish. But what they never tell you is, never start one with someone who has nothing to prove and everything to protect. That's the part clipboard tyrants never get. These suburban authoritarians in press polos and HOA visors. They confuse order for respect, paperwork for power. They forget. Rules mean nothing without honor. They looked at my ranch and didn't see a legacy. Just empty land. No porch light, no driveway basketball hoop. They assumed I didn't care, that I was gone, that I wouldn't fight. They didn't know every post, every ridge, every acre meant something. They didn't know my great-grandfather earned this land with a war pension and 2 calloused hands, or that my father died defending it during the worst flood this county's seen. They didn't know my absence was not abandonment. It was mission, expanding, building, quietly. Because the man they saw standing in the shadows of his driveway, he wasn't just a homeowner. He was a force, with leverage, with reach, and with purpose. It wasn't about fences. It was about freedom. Karen and her kind thought control equals safety. They were wrong. True safety comes from earned trust, from mutual respect. Not fines, not bylaws, not power trips. I don't need a clipboard to live free. I have something stronger. History, legacy, and backbone. The world's changing. The little guy is tired of being fined for tall grass, beige paint, flags that fly too high. Tired of being treated like tenants on our own land. And me? I'm not just a man with a ranch. I'm a symbol, a reminder, that sometimes the quiet guy in the flannel, he owns the company that installed your HOA sign, the one you thought gave you power. Karen didn't just start a war with me. She challenged every veteran fined for flying a flag, every elderly couple harassed over a garden gnome, every family bullied into repainting their home, every soul told they couldn't use their yard unless they paid a fee. She declared war on the wrong people, and the response wasn't loud. It was deliberate, silent, strategic. Now the HOA is gone. The clubhouse? Full of rescued dogs. The ranch gates? Taller than ever. The sign? Still there. Clear as day. Private property. Trespassers will be dealt with. Blackwood. And Karen? She still drives by. Every day. Past freedom she can't regulate. Past dogs she can't find. Past a legacy she couldn't erase. And the man she tried to silence? He owns the whole damn game.